case study for Africa. My name is Haitamba Pombili, and I'm part of Africa's Center of Excellence in Blockchain Research. I'm happy to have you all join us today for this important discussion. So Africa Blockchain Institute is committed to promoting discussions that drive innovation and financial inclusion across the continent and globally. Tokenized stocks represent a transformative opportunity, offering broader access to investment markets while leveraging the transparency and efficiency of blockchain technology. I'm sure you can all agree with me that it is an exciting time for the financial sector, as blockchain technology continues to transform how we perceive ownership and investment and access to capital. Africa is at the forefront of this transformation, and today's discussion will shed some light on ways in which we can improve the traditional stock market by leveraging the benefit of blockchain in Africa. Again, thank you very much for joining us. We encourage you to please engage actively, ask questions, give your contributions, suggestions, comments, and make the most out of this discussion. Without further ado, I would like to call upon my colleague Simi, who is coming to introduce our guest speaker and the moderator for tonight. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on today's section. But before we dive in, I would like to introduce two amazing individuals. And first, we have a moderator, Desiree Varro. He is a Central African nuclear physics engineer and technologist with Rwandan's artistry, an entrepreneur with international experience. He has lived and worked across Africa, Europe, and America, and is currently based in Sweden. Desiree is an expert in system thinking, human-centered design, and lean innovation, helping organizations drive technological advancement. His work span cutting-edge feats across AI, artificial intelligence, blockchain, quantum computing, and extended reality, XR, always with the goal of turning innovation into practical, market-ready solutions. His passion for building digital projects that connect us with users makes him a perfect person to guide us through today's conversation. Please let's welcome Desiree Varro. Next, we welcome our distinguished speaker, Liki Njeru, a visionary fintech entrepreneur and a blockchain enthusiast, a computer science graduate. Liki discovered digital currency during his time on campus, and he's recognized blockchain potentials that created borderless financial solutions. He is the CEO and the researcher at Tajiri, a stock trading platform designed to make Kenyan stock markets more accessible to young investors and international buyers using Web3 wallets like MetaMask. Before Tajiri, he founded Peterbit, another fintech initiative bridging the gap between the traditional finance and blockchain. With his expertise in blockchain technology, fintech, and decentralized finance, Liki is here to share his insights on the future of financial innovation in Africa. Please join me in welcoming our moderator, Desiree Varro, and our speaker, Liki Njeru. Thank you so much.
So, thank you very much, Timmy, for the invitation. Is it my turn to take on?
Yes, it says that.
All right, perfect. So yes, I'm Desiree Nzangu. Desiree, you can just call me. And I am, as they mentioned, a board member at ABI and also an engineer by education. I'm gonna be moderating this call, this webinar, and I will be starting maybe by a simple question to Leki. Leki, if you don't mind, could you introduce briefly your company, who you are, what you do, and overall, how does this actually fit? Sorry. how does this fall into the context of tokenizing resources? Because that's the main topic that we're going to be discussing today. Please go ahead. Hello, can you hear? I don't know if Leki heard my. Okay, yes.
Someone had muted me previously. I forgot to unmute myself. So like I was saying, my name is Ricky Njeru. I'm a Kenyan citizen and an African. So have a background in computer science, and I'm passionate about blockchain technology and specifically crypto assets. So that's where my journey began. So currently, I'm building Tajiri. Tajiri is a platform whereby we are envisioning African retail investors, like the ordinary people, like us, the young generation, the people in the streets selling vegetables, the people riding motorbikes, and teachers, nurses can be able to access and invest in the stock market in Africa. And how we are making it possible is through tokenization. By tokenizing, people can be able to own small fractions of stocks.
All right. So I guess we've covered the basics here. Thank you for that. Now, maybe let's go straight to the point in terms of tokenizing resources, and in particular, securities, stocks, funds, bonds from the Nairobi Stock Exchange. But let's expand it maybe to other kind of stock exchanges. Can you tell me what is the process, or like how did you go about that? To tokenize, or how are you going about it to tokenize these stocks, and maybe illustrating or expressing to us how could this be applied, if compliant and meeting the regulation, to other financial assets in Kenya but beyond. We'll cover the regulation and the compliance aspect afterward, but please, from a technology and technical standpoint, how are you proceeding to tokenizing this kind of assets?
Yeah, so when you do tokenization, there are two ways that you can do it. The first way is whereby you are able to issue a virtual representation of the asset that you plan to tokenize. Now, in this method, the collateral can be off-chain. For example, I know everyone in this call is familiar with the USDT stablecoin. So in USDT stablecoin, we have virtual dollars on the blockchain. Then they are collateralized by physical dollars, which are held in bank accounts. So that's one way we had in our mind about tokenizing stocks. The second way we had we were thinking about is whereby we have virtual representations on the blockchain, then the collateral is not off-chain, it's still on the blockchain. A nice way to understand this better is looking at the DAI stablecoin, how DAI stablecoin works. DAI is pegged to the US dollar, but it's not collateralized by physical dollars. DAI is collateralized by collateral, which is on the blockchain. That means you deposit Ethereum on the blockchain to act as collateral for DAI. So that's where we borrowed our idea from, and we choose the former method, not the latter. So in this former method, we are doing like when a user comes to Tajiri platform and they want to own some stocks, we give them a virtual representation of the stock that they want to buy. Then we do an order with a licensed stockbroker, which we have partnered with. They make an order of the physical stocks, then they hold them in custody, and we distribute the virtual stock to the customer who has bought them. Yeah. So that's the underlying technology which we are using currently. So in this underlying technology, it involves us partnering with licensed stockbrokers in Kenya. So we are working with a that party person who will be making sure that the physical stocks are available. If a customer orders for stocks, they have to make the order on our behalf. Yeah, so that is the underlying technology which we are using to make sure that someone can be able to buy and sell in real time. But this comes also with its own challenges, of course. Yeah, but we are looking forward on how we can be able to mitigate these challenges.
Okay, thank you. It sounds clear. I don't know if in the audience anybody has a question, maybe in the meantime. Otherwise, I will continue with mine. Any question eventually? Well, I have actually some questions in stock, so I will go on with it. Now, you mentioned DAI. I know this was not maybe discussed that much before, but why did you choose then the stablecoin model of USDT or USDC rather than the stablecoin model of DAI? So programmatic stablecoin like DAI, you decided not to follow them, but to instead use USDC, USDT.
Yeah, so that's a very nice question. Using the model which is being used by USDT and USDC, we found it as an easier way because at any time you are assured that the virtual stocks you are issuing to that person are backed by real stocks. Like it's not about you are doing any guesswork or gambling. Yeah, and so in case anything goes wrong on the blockchain, you still have the underlying assets which you are holding off chain. Yeah, so this one was more secure and an easier way to get things spinning up very fast. So that's why we choose that.
Okay, great, thanks. So, and side questions following this. Isn't there, or how do you assess the risk, if any, of your solution depending strongly on stable coins like USDT, USDC, meaning stable coins that are backed by a currency that is not Kenyan shillings? So how, for example, me, let's say based in East Africa, will be investing. I would like to tokenize some of my stocks, but I would like it to benefit somehow my economy, the local economy that I'm part of, and I'll probably be using some local currency to buy these stocks, and maybe when I sell them, I don't think that they'll be sold in USD or so on. So these stable coins will be used just for the swapping between currencies. Have you thought, and you don't need to have an answer to that, I understand the project is still in early phase, but have you thought about how to make local economies benefit from the potential of blockchain, of tokenization through blockchain, but without this benefiting only other currencies, but yours?
Yeah. Uh-huh. So like okay, you agree with the question.
You want me to repeat the question?
Okay, like I was asking if you have finished the question.
Yes, I am. I've finished. I'm just basically thinking from economical or even philosophical perspective, while you're
Yeah,
using the power of blockchain to enable tokenization of stocks and other financial assets. We know that this depends on third-party platforms, third-party currencies, third-party stablecoins. If you would have chosen DAI or any other programmatic stablecoins that are not backed by any international currencies, that will still be a level of, I would say, self-ownership or self-sovereignty. But leveraging stablecoins that are backed by USD or, for the matter, any other kind of currency, you hand over part of the ownership or sovereignty of your platforms, your customers, to a third party. Have you thought about this? And if so, do you have some kind of mitigation plan over time? Like, are you planning to expand maybe the different stablecoins to be implemented on the platform, or will you be in the early phase at least sticking to, well, those that have the biggest market capitalization anyway, which I understand completely from a business standpoint?
Oh, yes, yes. So, oh, okay. Currently, we have, if you check the MVP, which I hope to share the link later on after we finish the webinar. So if you check our MVP, we are enabling the normal users to swap the Ethereum to these stocks. But the initial idea was swapping with stablecoins. And if you look at USDT and USDC, there's a risk factor because they rely on third-party companies like Sacco. So in case Sacco something happens to it, also the USDC stablecoin is affected. I don't know that is what you meant.
I think it's okay. It's not really an easy question, and maybe it's not even relevant in our discussion here. I just wanted to know if you thought about that. My personal motivation or behind this question is I see a strong, maybe over reliance on stable coins that are backed by currencies that are not local currencies, and I understand why they are stable, they are strong, they enable transactions and so on. But I think that as builders, we need to think sometimes a bit beyond the building phase and seeing how this can benefit beyond me and my individual person and my company. How can this also benefit our economies? But maybe that's another discussion for another webinar.
Actually, I have a good answer for that. I want to share something.
Please go ahead then.
Like, yeah, like if you look at the Safaricom price on the internet, all the charts, you'll see Safaricom trading against the Kenya shilling, not Safaricom trading against the US dollar. And this got me thinking because currently I'm in Kenya and we have a Kenya shilling stablecoin actually right now. It's running on the sale of blockchain. So this is what I was thinking. If on our application, we allow users to trade using the Kenya shilling stablecoin, that means you come from a different chain ecosystem, maybe Optimism or Base or any other network with your USDC, USDT, or Ethereum. And then you come on Tajiri application, we have a swap feature, which will allow you to swap your dollar stablecoin into the Kenya shilling stablecoin. Now with the Kenya shilling stablecoin, you can be able to easily trade with the Kenyan stocks. Yeah, that's something which I had thought of before previously to make trading more easy on our to the customers.
Okay, great, thanks. So that means also you're thinking about how to not being locked into one unique kind of layer one or layer two and one unique stablecoin and so on. All right, let's
Yeah,
move on to another question which is important, I think, and we don't talk enough about that in the tech ecosystem: compliance and regulation. I used to think years ago that this was a boring topic. Apologies for that, for my fellows, policymakers or legal people and so on. I was just a tech guy, but I realized that regardless of how strong and good the tech that we're building is, if it doesn't fit into the regulatory framework that exists, or help help building a regulatory framework that will allow the use of this tech, we're kind of just building for GitHub or for whatever repository where this solution won't be used at scale. Therefore, my question to you is: have you thought about how your tokenization solution is compliant to the existing framework in Kenya in particular, but maybe other frameworks that you're aware of? And if so, or if not, how are you planning to have it being compliant so that people can actually use your solution?
Yeah, okay, exactly. So compliance and the regulation is very important when it comes to consumer protection, because a startup can launch today, then after a month, you hear that people have been scammed their money. So that's where compliance comes in. And being in Kenya, we are very lucky because the Capital Markets Authority, the CMA, has a sandbox. So in this sandbox, they are accepting blockchain-powered products. Most of these products are dealing with tokenization. We already have products which have been accepted into the CMA sandbox, which are tokenizing real estate. So one of our goals for Tajiri this year is to apply for the Capital Markets Authority sandbox so that we can be able to test our product with the users, with the support from the government, with support from the regulations, and to see how people react to this, how people are able to trade on a trusted and verifiable platform. Another thing, we plan to also partner with a licensed stockbroker, because here in Kenya, you cannot offer trading services like to people without a license. That one will get you into some legal trouble. So as the person leading Tajiri, I'm looking forward to discussions and partnerships with licensed digital traders in Kenya who have been given the authority to do investments on behalf of their customers. So through such kind of partnerships, we are able to mitigate any legal challenges which might come against us because of lacking a license. Yeah, so those are some of the things which I'm thinking about right now. And another thing is anti-money laundering, because you find that here in Kenya, when you are running a fintech startup, they require you to know your customer, know the person you are dealing with, know the person who is putting money on your platform. And this is challenging because now we are building a Web3 product where people are very sensitive to displaying their identity. Yeah, so like people don't like doing a lot of KYC when interacting with these DeFi platforms. But according to the local regulations, we are mandated to do so as a platform to know who are investing through our platform. So we are currently looking for ways how we shall go around that. Yeah, so I think that's it about compliance.
Right, yes, thanks for the answer. Now, I have a question regarding so I got into blockchain through Bitcoin, so maybe apologies for my question being biased, but have you also thought about how to connect, or do you have any plan to connect the Bitcoin community, or maybe this is not relevant at all? Because I heard a lot lately about, Bitcoin Reserve Fund and or Bitcoin ETF. Then of course now we have Ethereum ETF as well. But bottom line is the financial market is using now quite extensively Bitcoin and Ethereum for yield generation. How would you have Kenyan customers, but maybe African customers as a whole, and the investors benefiting from these trends?
Okay, so you're a Bitcoin maxi. Okay, so currently we are looking for open ecosystems whereby we can build Tajiri. Recently, I saw there was this stablecoin which launched on the Bitcoin network. I think it was USDT. I never followed around to see how it was working, but we are open to making Tajiri an application which is accessible even on the Bitcoin network, if it will really be possible and technical wise. Yeah. So What did you mention else?
There is also a question actually in the chat that I just realized now, so priority to them. Have you explored other wallets but MetaMask in using your solution?
Oh, as well. Okay. So when I introduced myself, I mentioned that there's a startup which I'm running called Pesabit, and one of the challenges which I've seen is a lot of African builders or founders. We are building products to the Web3 users, people already in the crypto industry, and that market is very small. So here in Tajiri, I want to make things more different. We want to target Web2 users. How do we target users who don't know about cryptocurrency, who have never used Ethereum or Bitcoin? How do we tell them how it's easy? How is it easy for them to invest in the stock market here in Kenya, Africa, and globally? We provide them a tool for them to do that. And how we can onboard them onto Tajiri is through account abstraction. I think, I don't know if people are familiar with that, whereby you can create a wallet for someone by using their social authentication. Like you find someone using Google account, they come to Tajiri platform, they sign up with their Google account, they get a wallet address. After they get a wallet address, they are able to buy some let's say USDC. They buy USDC from the local currency wallet, like M-Pesa, for example. Because I am in Kenya, I use M-Pesa as an example. So someone comes to Tajiri, they sign up with Google, they get a wallet address. Then they use their M-Pesa money to buy USDT on Tajiri platform. After they buy, they get some USDT on the app. With the USDT, they are able to trade multiple stocks which are available. So I don't want to say we are targeting only users on Web3. Yeah, so, and someone asked if you are using only MetaMask and Trust Wallet. Of course. Okay, currently, we plan to use any self-custodial wallet which is available. Just connect any wallet you have, because all of them use the same standard. You can just connect any wallet on Tajiri. But we are also focusing on users who are outside Web3. So I think that's a good answer.
All right, thanks for the response. Maybe following up on that one. So I'm not very familiar with Base, but I understand that they are scaling up their activity in Africa. What would you say is the advantage for you to have chosen that specific blockchain versus the others? But could you scale it to other network? Of course, if you have a good reason. I don't know how deep the technical knowledge of the audience is, so maybe let's keep it high level if possible. My question is mainly just knowing: are you only targeting people who are building on Base? Are there some Is there some interoperability with other blockchain networks? These kind of very basic questions.
So we currently choose to start with Base because Base has been growing in Africa. They have from what I saw last year is that they are trying to grow their ecosystem in Africa. So we expect a lot of users are using the Base network. And another thing about Base I saw is that they have negligible transaction fee. So when someone is trading, they don't lose a lot of money when it comes to transaction fees. When it comes to interoperability, how users from different blockchain networks can be able to use Tajiri, we shall be doing so through you remember Base is, okay. I don't want to go I don't want to be so technical, but there's a way you can connect Base with other blockchain networks like Optimism, Ethereum, and the rest. It's through something called Optimism Superchain, which I'm not going to discuss about. But for now, we are using Base because if you come from other network, you just you bridge your tokens on Base. Yeah, but we are looking to expanding to other chains as well.
Okay, good. I just realized, by the way, that we now dived into tokenization itself and other details, but without maybe answering the main question, or maybe you did at some point. Why tokenizing even stocks in the first place? What is the advantage to do that? Can't the investor, and I mean those who are currently investing in the Kenyan Nairobi Stock Exchange, but maybe those who are not, why would they use tokenization? Basically, that's my question. And second or side question is, how can this benefit the traditional finance? How can this connect to what already exists?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So let us look at the process of investing at, of buying stocks and owning them from Nairobi Stock Exchange. So as a first-time user, what I need is to open a CDS account. This can take me several days or several weeks. After opening a CDS account, I have to look for a reliable stockbroker. There are many stockbrokers in Kenya, so I have to go online, do some research, look for recommendation from friends, people who are experienced, for me to get a stockbroker. After I get a stockbroker, each stockbroker, they have their own conditions. Like you can be told that your minimum balance should be not below $1,000. So this immediately prevents certain people of a certain level of income from investing into the Kenyan stocks. Another challenge, if you have seen Nairobi Stocks Exchange, and for people who don't know about it, is that it opens only on work days, from Monday to Friday. On weekends, you cannot be able to trade. So that means if you are holding stocks from a particular company, and then some news comes up during the weekend, and you are very sure that that stock price is going to fall, you are at a disadvantage because you're not able to access, you cannot trade. You are left holding a stock which you are sure you'll be at a loss when the markets open on Monday. Then we look at, I said that trading happens from Monday to Friday, but something else, it's not 24/7. On the normal weekdays, trading starts at 8 a.m., then it closes at around 5 p.m. in the evening. If you compare this against the crypto market is open 24/7 hours, 24 hours actually. So we want to create such kind of a system whereby users can be able to trade stocks in a more seamless manner. I don't need to I don't need to open a CDS account somewhere online, then I look for a separate stockbroker. You understand? It's especially for someone who is in diaspora. It becomes a headache for them because they're using a different currency. How do they invest in the Kenyan stocks? So those are some of the challenges which we want to mitigate by building a Tajiri. So Tajiri, we want to offer our users a secondary stock market where we don't rely on Nairobi Stock Exchange. We want users who own stocks on Tajiri platform can be able to trade amongst themselves. So this creates a 24/7, 24-hour economy. Something else is that I'm looking about lending. You see, stocks are an asset. When you buy stock, that is an asset that you're holding. We want to envision a place, a time whereby you can take a loan by using those stocks, those virtual stocks, of that company you hold, you can use them to take a loan. Another thing, we want to see how users can be able to stake their virtual stocks online, like in liquidity pools, and earn yields from staking those virtual stocks. Yeah, so those are some of the few things which we plan to do on Tajiri platform.
Okay, thank you. It's pretty clear. Just can you remind me briefly? I don't remember what was your response about if you are compliant or planning to deal with compliance in the regulatory framework, the one that exists today. I did not really follow or understood that response. Sorry for that.
Okay, no problem. So the first step that we need to the step which you're applying,
Briefly, I'm sorry, because we're getting slowly but surely to close the end of our debate, our discussion. So if you can just briefly remind me what's your current exploration of the compliance in the regulatory framework, that will be great.
Yeah, so as I was saying, currently we want to apply for the Capital Markets Authority sandbox. After if it will be successful, we'll be able to launch our Tajiri product into the public market, whereby we want to test people investing, buying stocks, owning them, and selling in a way which is more regulated and it will not land us into legal troubles. The second option, which we are looking to do, is partnering with an already existing licensed partner. So like we can be able to use their license and offer trading options to people. Yeah.
Okay, that's clear. Thanks. Speaking of market, and I think there'll be, so I have two questions, two, three, I would say. One is about education. What have you initiated, if anything, to educate builders, customers, investors, policymakers about tokenization in general and particularly financial asset tokenization, so that when the time will come, the friction will be less and the adoption will be ease of your solution? So that's my first question, because we're representing an educational organization, through this webinar. I'm a board member there. We have a great team of enabler strategists, busy and active all around Africa, from the French-speaking Africa to the English-speaking Africa and beyond. So how could you collaborate with organizations like ours? That's my, I would say, main question. And then on the side, I'm wondering, in terms of market expansion beyond Kenya, what are the markets you're thinking of expanding, if any, in the future?
Education is a very important factor, especially when you're dealing with a product which is using new technology in the market. So how we are educating people? Okay, for now we have not yet begun. We were just brainstorming on how Tajiri will look like. So in terms of education, we plan to do this a webinar show, like what we are doing here with the African Blockchain Institute, whereby we host a meeting, an online meeting. We tell people why using blockchain technology to do this particular thing is better than what was being done before. Yeah, so it's through talking to people on X spaces, on spaces like this, Zoom meetings, on Google meetings, and also attending physical events. Like here, I'm currently in Nairobi. We have a lot of events happening around the city. So it's just we apply for certain events, then we go and tell people about tokenization and how it's going to change the way they invest their money and how they earn yields, how they earn profits. So, and when it comes to expanding outside Kenya, So after we do a successful pilot program in Kenya this year, we plan to expand to East Africa. To East Africa, like we encompass countries like Uganda Stock Exchange, Tanzania Stock Exchange. Yeah, so that's how. But for now, we have no particular roadmap on the countries that we will expand to. But there's something important which I want to mention. Currently, right now, we are dealing with companies only listed on the Nairobi Stock Exchange. And that limits us to 65 companies only. And it's not a good thing because here in Kenya, we have more than 10,000 companies. We have SMEs which need to raise money, and they have no platform for them to raise capital. So I'm looking forward, like whereby Tajiri platform, someone who has a small company in a small town in Kenya, they can come on Tajiri platform, they list their company there, then they issue stock for their company. Then investors online or globally can be able to buy shares for that small company, which is based in a small town in Kenya, and that company can be able to raise enough capital for them to operate. Yeah, so scaling to us is more than expanding countries. It's more about expanding the number of businesses that Tajiri can be able to impact. We don't want only to impact the large companies which are listed on NSE. And I hope that is clear.
That's clear. There was a question in the chat that I'm asking now to you about the gas fees. Who is incurring it? Is it Tajiri company? Is it the users? Is it both? And last but not least, a comment slash a question on my side is the same way you're investing into stocks of companies, maybe let's say a company that will be managing real estate. So indirectly could enable you to also uh, tokenize real estate through real estate stocks, I assume. Since I know both of us are in real estate tokenization platforms, I was curious to hear how you're approaching the thematic. But yes, priority to the main question, gas fees. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. As for we strategically choose to launch Tajiri on based network because the gas fees are pretty negligible. So as a user who wants to trade on the platform, you are the one who will be paying your own gas fee, but we want to use a paymaster whereby we can pay the gas fees for the user. But we shall be able to recover the funds back when they are doing the swapping. When you're swapping from USDC to the stock which you are buying or selling, that's where we plan to recover back the money. So for us, paying the gas fee on behalf of the user is it's a more efficient way that we can run the platform. The next question was about. Could you repeat?
Yeah, it was about tokenizing real estate, but indirectly through, let's say, a company that owns buildings and real estate. So they have shareholders. Your investors who owns or holds some of their shares can then tokenize them through you, so that is this a way you could see real estate tokenization happen? Maybe more from a financial aspect than an actual tokenization of the physical asset.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, that we want to build a platform where anyone with a company can come on the platform on Tajiri and list their company and issue stocks. So, assuming there's a real estate company somewhere that want to raise funds for maybe doing some construction work, they can come on Tajiri's platform. They list about their company, their social media channels, the people who are working behind that company, the amount of revenue they are making, the amount of revenue they are targeting. Then on Tajiri's, as Tajiri, we do our own due diligence on that real estate company. We verify it's true, they are who they are, and they are not scammers. They are people who are doing legit businesses. After we verify that, that's when we can be able to allow them to list and issue tokens, issue the virtual stocks through the Tajiri's platform. After the issue, then investors who are coming to Tajiri, these people can be investors, those who have a lot of money, or it can be consumers or the average people who want to invest maybe $5, $100, $50. They can come, they see a list of listed companies, they select the one they want, they do their own research about the so and so company, then they make their investment. So actually, we are providing a solution which can be used by any type of company, whether you are in real estate, agriculture, or farming or fishery. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And I will close on my side and leaving the floor to my colleagues from ABI by asking you that simple question: what would you tell other builders, business persons, startups, innovators in Kenya, but also beyond, who would like to follow your example in tokenizing assets, particularly financial assets? How can they proceed? How can we expand what you're doing?
Actually, okay. So from my own personal experience, it starts as a small idea in your head. Then you try to build an MVP. Then you go and share the product which you are building to your friends, to the Web3 community which is around you. Then you find that, hey, some people have got attention of what you are building, like African Blockchain Institute. Like it's you must start with the building what your idea is. You don't know what might happen tomorrow. You don't know who might be interested in your product. Yeah, for me, that's the rule which I follow. Yeah, and I hope for things to get even more better.
Thank you very much. Timmy, I think the floor is yours. Um, yeah, I think you maybe actually, Lig, do you have any question? Anything that you'd like to ask to me and or my colleagues?
Okay, so for me, I hope to like do partnerships with the African Blockchain Institute because I've been following your work through the various social media channels which you're using, and I love what you're doing, like spreading both the blockchain technology and its impact in Africa. So we can form a partnership between Tajiri and African Blockchain Institute. It can be a good way to impact people in a more good and better way.
Well, thank you for these kind words. I think I'm good on my side, so I'm gonna leave it up to my colleagues to close the floor. And Lika, thank you for your participation. And if there are any other questions in the audience, please you can follow up directly to him and or to us. And I really hope that this discussion around tokenization in general and particularly financial assets tokenization will continue because things are moving fast. Resources are attracted a lot to richer developed countries, but I think that the future of DeFi is in Africa. So it's up to us to make it count. I tend to tell my colleagues, friends, and partners that we've been customers for a long time. It's good to be builders and directing the direction of our economical development. So, on these words, I thank you and I leave the floor to my colleagues if they have any. Other.
all right. On behalf of African Blockchain Institute, we say a very big thank you to our speaker, Mr. Leke Njeru, for honoring our invitation and for sharing your valuable insights on fintech, blockchain, tokenizations, and financial innovations in Africa. It was a really eye-opening section. And of course, to all our audience, we say a big thank you for joining, for your participation, and your engagement. We really hope that today actually sparks, today's conversation sparks new idea. And as Mr. Leke said, he said, start with a small idea and also build on it. And also with the right governance in place, we can also leverage on the right potential of what we are building in Africa. Please let's continue this discussion beyond this section and also connect with African Blockchain Institute on all social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, like known as X, yeah, and our YouTube account, and you'll be the first to know about all our events. We have another discussion like this, a fireside chat on the 25th of February this month. And stay tuned to our online platforms to get more details about the sections. And thank you once again to every single one of you that made it here today. And we look forward to seeing you in our next events. Thank you, guys.